Hey everyone, how's it going? Elliot here again. Today's video, we're going to be doing a Let's Refurb on the Sony PSP. I'm really excited to do this. This is the second video that I've done recently where I'm kind of exploring some new grounds, stuff that I haven't done before at the request of you guys. So hopefully you'll enjoy this video. Before we do that, I just want to quickly talk about my new t-shirts. As you can see, I'm now wearing the Walkman t-shirt that's here, and obviously that is of the artwork that's in the background. I've now got 3 t-shirt designs. So obviously I've got this one, and on the back there is a bigger artwork piece of this. There's also the mixtape one, which I think looks really cool. And then on the back there's a mixtape, and at the bottom it says TRF, the Retro Future, of course. And lastly, the ones that you guys might probably all be interested in is the Game Boy Kart T. So you've got a little one on the front, and then on the back you've got the bigger dude. If you want to buy them, I'll leave them in the link in the description below. Let's get into the video. I was having a little look around on eBay, as I do, and I found a PSP, and it was £20. I think I sent them an offer actually, and it's a little bit beaten up. It's not too bad. The door button's not kind of staying closed. It's not springing back. So you have to push that manually and then it does close. And even when it does finally close, it's a little bit open still. So that's something we're going to have to address. And of course, the screen is smashed, which you probably gathered from the thumbnail of the video. But other than that, it seems to work okay. It's very laggy, and I can't even get into the menu to reset it. So once I've fix the hardware problems, I'm going to address the software problems, and I'm probably going to install some custom firmware. That's something that a lot of PSP owners do, which is really cool. I know that the laser works in the back because the job lock came with 2 batteries, 2 battery covers, and 2 memory cards, which is very nice. And it also came with this case, which smells of smoke, which is really not very nice, and a UMD, and yeah, it reads the UMDs absolutely fine, so I don't have to worry about that. So without any further ado, I'm going to get it down to the part where I have to replace the screen, and then we'll talk about it and talk about the process, whether or not it's been difficult, and then we'll put it back together, test it, and call it a day. So I'm now at the position where I have actually removed the screen, and I'm going to just open up the box of the other one that I've ordered just to see what we're going to get inside. So there is the new one, and oh, that's probably not a good idea. And yeah, as you can see, the screen is actually different. Now it's basically just because this thing is in some sort of like a cage that we're going to have to remove the screen from, which I can't imagine is going to be too difficult. It might just be a case of applying a little bit of pressure and unhooking some things around the side. My first port of call is to remove it from this bracket and try and bend the bracket back into place, because it has a little bend in it in the middle, and yeah, that is probably why this thing is not clipping back properly, because it's applying too much pressure to the top of the shell. So let's go ahead and take this out, and we'll put the new one in. And yeah, in fact, what we can probably do is test that it even works. There we go. Excellent. Okay, I have just managed to get a fingerprint on there. That's probably not ideal, but that seems to be more or less working now. What I did notice before was that the whole thing was kind of slowing down. So what would be nice to do is if I can just somewhat press fit this all in. I know it's not going to be ideal, and check, and yeah, it is still having a lot of slowdown issues, so that's definitely not related to the smashed screen. And I'm not actually able to reset this thing yet, so yeah, whenever I try and go into a setting, it freezes, which is probably not ideal. So anyway, we'll focus on that afterwards. I'll check that there's nothing shorting out, and what I'm going to try and do now is reassemble the whole thing. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've now actually worked out how to do this, and I really wanted to share this with you in case you decide to do this yourself. So I've worked out that there is some damage on this metal shielding that wasn't caused by me. It was there before I got this thing, and that's probably what's causing a lot of the different problems, including the mechanism for keeping the UMD door shut. So that's a shame, but hopefully it will still be helpful for you if you want to do this yourself watching this part. So there's a load of buttons across here, and that's all attached on them, a little metal bracket, and connects using a ribbon cable on the side. So what you basically do is you unclip this first and foremost. So once you've put a screwdriver underneath and you've lifted up the two latches for the two ribbons, this whole unit will come off. First thing you got to do is just remove the button PCB, and it's only held on just with little metal clips. So just take that off and set that to the one side. And basically what you're going to want to do is work it off the edge. Now do not bend this, because that will just result in you snapping and cracking the screen. Obviously you can work a screwdriver down the side because there is metal shielding around the screen, but you want to keep the screen absolutely flat at all times, because if you start warping that, it will just crack, because it's only a thin little bit of glass. So just be very careful. Next thing to do, grab your PlayStation, and what you're going to do is plug the ribbon cables in. Flap the little black plastic lid down and just pull lightly just to make sure you've actually got it plugged in, and then do the same with the other ribbon cable and press the little black bit down, and that is the first step. Now what you want to do is come in with your metal bracket. This one's broken, which means that I can just feed this through, although if yours isn't, I'm not actually sure what a working one looks like. You might want to keep this metal bracket down first, then plug your ribbon cables in, if that makes sense. Then what you're going to do is bend the screen down. The ribbon cable from your new screen will probably be a little bit tougher than the one that came on the PSP, because obviously this ribbon cable is new. And you're just going to pull the metal bracket down into place. Then you want to just push everything into place. The metal bracket should just all snap into place and be okay. And then set your screen down. So that is the last thing to do. Once the metal bracket's all clicked in, obviously ribbon cables first, metal bracket, then press your screen into place, and everything should snap into place around the edges. Unfortunately, my metal bracket is broken and I don't have a replacement one of those. If you can even buy them, I don't know. Then you go in with your button PCB, the final step, and that basically all just clicks into place like that over the top of everything. And you should just hear some little kind of snapping noises of the metal clips just going into place. Then of course you can plug your ribbon cable in for those buttons that we were talking about before. Tug gently on the ribbon, make sure that it's all in there and nice and secure. Okay, then you're pretty much ready to reassemble the whole thing. The only thing that's really dirty on this is the L and R triggers, so I'm just going to give those a little wipe, and that should be sufficient in order to clean those. I don't think it's going to need to go into the sink or anything. Okay, and that's one, and then just going to put the left one in as well. They pretty much just sit in there, so once you've got it all back together again, just go ahead and screw the screws back in. Okay, so I have the PSP now working, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about my kind of final thoughts of this thing. Basically, all of the problems that I had doing this was all down to the fact that this PSP has been tampered with before by someone who was quite careless and didn't know what they were doing. And basically what that has resulted in is a lot of different bent parts. There are things that are missing, things that have gone back with force and not with care. And because of that, it's meant that this thing has had a bad life. And unfortunately, that is just the kind of nature of buying things off of eBay. Buying a PSP is always going to be a gamble because the batteries are inherently unreliable with old devices. You can always buy a battery from China, but apparently they only work a few times and then they just stop taking a charge. So that is just always going to be the case with buying things off of eBay. I was successfully able to replace the smashed screen though, however, so that has been a great success. And also it's put my foot in the door of having a go at repairing Sony consoles, which I'm really, really excited about. The software is still a little bit kind of slow on this. Again, it could be down to the fact that there's something not in the right place and it's bending on another component and shorting it out, but as you can see, it's all just a little bit kind of slow and glitchy, and you can see that screen flicker there. That happened as well on this screen, so I thought it was potentially just the screen, but I think it's something to do with the video out and the onboard kind of chips on this thing just not being quite happy. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I certainly had a lot of fun trying to fix this thing, and I would say that it was a success. You know, I repaired the broken aspect of it, which was the screen. Obviously there's other issues with this thing as well, but I think that is going to be a case of, you know, the condition that this thing is in being very, very poor, and you can't really tell from the photos because they're taken on a low quality camera, and makes you really think that the guy selling this has no idea what's wrong with it. And I even emailed him and he said that he bought it from a charity shop or something like that, so he may well have done. You never really know with these things. But yeah, definitely going to buy some more. If you enjoyed the video, let me know, leave a like. If you want to see more, then definitely let me know, because I'm keen to have another go again at you know, fully restoring one back to complete, full, purposeful functionality. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.